and gentlemen, welcome to episode 58 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel, and I am very excited about tonight's guest star. But before we introduce this man, I want to introduce tonight's special guest co-host, returning, of course, Christopher David.
How's everybody doing? It's a pleasure to be here.
And tonight's guest star, let me just say, I believe this man is a total legend, though. This man he was the American Gladiator from 1990 to 1991. He is a three-time Ohio Valley Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, a two-time WWE Tag Team Champion, one time with Rikishi, one time with Charlie Haas, and of course he was a one-time OVW Southern Tag Team Champion with, of course, John Cena. He is a man that is the personification of literally a real-life Superman, though. This man has overcame adversity, so many obstacles, and of course, this man is a real-life inspiration, influential person, and I'm very honored to have tonight. I'm very honored to have Mr. Rico Constantino. Rico, how are you today, sir? Welcome.
I am fantastic. Thank you. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. Wow, I almost had to go. Who's he talking about? Is he talking about me?
All truth, sir. I mean, you're not only like the Robin Williams when it comes to promo cut in wrestling, but you're also a real life inspiration to many people, including myself.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, before we get to the WWE questions, Rico, I just want to ask, this is going to be a typical cliche question, and that is, how did you get your first start in pro wrestling, and how did it lead to your audition for WWE? Take me there.
Okay, I am doing bodyguarding around the world. I'm in Florida, bodyguarding a client, and my brother here in Las Vegas owned a bail bonds business, and he was great at bail bonds, but he just couldn't manage people. He was just too nice, had too big of a heart. So he had his employees. He'd have me come down once in a while and just clean house, you know, put cameras up because some were stealing, some were doing bad things, and you know, a surety who backs you in a business, they put a lot of money into you. You know, you got to make sure the money's right, the bonds are right, each is counted for. You got to make sure all this is, so it's a big job. So I came down a couple of times, and finally, I think after the third time, he was crying and asked me to come. I said, Dari, you can't pay me what I'm getting paid. And I thought about it, and I said, you know, he's family. So I resigned from that position, came out to Vegas, February 1998. And we started getting the bail bonds business working. And then he tells me that he's part of Empire Wrestling Federation with Jesse Hernandez in San Bernardino, California. He says, let's go wrestle. I said, Dari, I'm 38 years old. What am I going to be bouncing around the ring for? He says, no, just for fun. Let's do it for fun. We get there, and Jesse, you know, it's a 3.5-hour drive there, 3-hour workout, and 3.5 hours back. And that's after working all day. So I start going, I start liking it. Jesse starts to see something in me, and we start working. Then my first angle was with Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel. That was my first angle. And Jesse taught me, and I even said this before when I got my tryout. Jesse sent a tape up. I've only been wrestling 8 months, had like 12 matches. And one of my matches, I got to wrestle the Honky Tonk Man for the title. And he let me go over on him 1, 2, 3 in the center of the ring. He never does that. He always gets disqualified. And he let me smash his guitar on the ring post. So he gave me I was shocked. And I asked him why. He goes, son, I knew you were good after you gave me the first headlock takeover. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He's, I knew what you were doing. I trusted you. And I went, wow. So Jesse sent the tape up. I get a call from Howard Finkel, God rest his soul. And I knew the voice because I was a fan for years in the 80s, you know, and this is Howard Finkel. And we'd like to know if you'd like to come up to WWE Connecticut and do a 10-day tryout. We're having tryouts. And I said, yeah. And I went up there, and that's how I got the tryout. And during the tryout, it's 10 days, I got food poisoning from their cafeteria. So they said, oh, you can stay in the hotel room. I said, no, nope, not doing it. So what I would do is I'd run and I'd wrestle. When I had to go to the bathroom, I'd run to the bathroom, take care of business, come running back out. I'd wrestle, do the exercises, and I'd look at Dory, and Dory'd go, I go, vroom. I'd run back out, go to the bathroom, come back. But I had to keep drinking Gatorade to hydrate myself. So it was either I was puking or going the other way. But I didn't let it stop me, and I just kept going. And then Had a match. 2 last days were at Killer Kowalski's territory. And I wrestled Mark Henry with Cornette with the racket. And Cornette goes, how hard do you want me to hit you? I said, make it believable. Yeah, he kind of did. I even believed it because he hit me. Yeah, that's what a tennis racket feels like. Okay. So I go to 10 days and I get a developmental deal. It's only $500 a week. Well, back then I was married and had kids, and I'm like, I can't live on that because it's not taxed. It's just straight 500 and you pay your taxes. Right. So I talked to a wrestler here who lived here. You might know him. God rest his soul. Yokozuna.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So Yoko and I, had a talk. And we took a ride, and I was telling him, and he goes, one thing maybe think about it, he goes, there are people that would give their left arm and their right leg to get what you're getting now, especially at your age. I said, you're right. Okay, I'll do it. And Cornette said, okay, I'm going to be at Ohio Valley, July. I want you to come out. Okay. Now, like I said, 8 months, 12 matches. And then I did the 2 matches at Killer Kowalski's. Right. So my first match is Louisville Gardens against the Andretti brothers. It's supposed to be one of them, but they're bad guys. And that was my first match in Ohio Valley. So
very cool.
And like I said, started at 38 and a half, and I debuted on the big TV at 40. I was 40 years old, and now I'm in the big dance.
That's cool.
Interesting.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Chris, you got a question for Rico?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said you started at 40 in terms of once you got on I guess what they would call now main roster television.
Main roster,
but
yeah.
You were moving like some of the 20-year-olds, man. Like you had amazing kicks. Did you by any chance practice any particular style of martial arts?
Yes. Kempo karate is when I was a kid. Taekwondo. Okay. Odu style, which is Japanese, and then I took Muay Thai from a sensei called Matt Kuriara. He was Tyrell Biggs' cut man when Tyrell Biggs was a boxer. So I had all of that, and then police training, bodyguard training. I've been always good with hands and feet.
Right.
So my thing when I was doing it in the roster, I had to learn how to pull them back, but make them look snappish without knocking somebody's teeth out. Because some of those are really real moves.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Wow, and that's what Cornette said. I'm going to go back to the Kowalski thing. I told Dory Funk and his wife how old I was when I got there. That's another story. But I get with Cornette, and we do the second show, and it's a tag team. And we get done. We're with Dr. Tom Pritchard. And all of a sudden, I hear Jimmy yelling, "Where is that blankety blank Rico? Where is he?" I said, "What did I do wrong?" He goes, "Tom, I don't know. Get over here." And I go walking over there going, "Okay, what's going to go on?" He says, "You know what they just told me in the back?" I said, "No. He told me you were 38 years old." I said, "I am." He goes, "I thought you were for 25, for Christ's sake." 25? I said, "Thank you." He goes, "Oh my God." And he stomps off, but never thought I was 38.
Wow.
He never asked me, but I told Dory. Howard knew. They all knew. I put it on my application.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But Cornette being that off the pop, what? He's not no 38.
He wasn't here. He wasn't hearing any of it.
Are Jim Cornette's rants more scary in person than they are like hearing them on YouTube?
Well, I'll tell you what, he believes in what he says.
Yeah.
When you're standing next to him, he's cutting a promo. He believes in actually what he says, which is a key. You got to believe in what you're doing. And when I was a face, we had good promos, but when I went to Bolin, Kenny Bolin's side, boy, he used to get on me, and we used to go back and forth, and that was fun. And then we brought in Cena.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about of course your tag team run with Cena and OVW very soon. I just wanted to ask you also, because you mentioned before, like you were on American Gladiators. You won it from 1990 to 1991. Memories of doing American Gladiators and of course winning it.
Well, that was a 4-city tryout. I think they tried out 12 to 15,000 people, and to just try out, I tried out Universal Studios. You had to do 25 chin-ups in 30 seconds. You had to do a 40-yard dash in under like 5.5. You had to do a one-on-one tug of war against somebody else. 2 out of 3 wins. Then you had to do a shuttle run, touch the line, go back, touch a further line, go back, touch a further line, go back in under so much time. Then you had to do Powerball once on offense to dunk it, once on defense to stop somebody. All this is pass fail. All of it is pass fail. So if you don't go on, you go away. And the last thing you have to do is an on-camera interview. So when I finished my on-camera for Contender, the producer came over to me, in which I didn't know who he was at the time, Eitan Keller, and he said, I want you to go over here and try out this course. I said, what's it for? He goes, this is to be a gladiator. I said, oh, okay. So I went through their course, and they came back and they said, okay, we don't know where to put you, but we'll send you a letter and we'll let you know if you're a contender or a gladiator. Because from the first season, Titan and Malibu were released, so they had to bring in 2 gladiators. So when I was getting ready to compete, I watched film of the first season. So I knew what Laser was going to do, Gemini was going to do. I knew what Nitro was going to do. And I figured the newness of those guys will match the newness of me, because they're not going to know the game, not going to know the games as well. But I knew my heart was bigger than theirs. Because,
so it was complimentary.
Yeah. So I studied the film and stuff, and they sent me a letter, said you'll be a contender. And they gave us 2 days at Universal to practice on the events without the gladiators. They brought in some Marines from Pendleton to teach us how to joust, because that was the big thing there. And when you were doing everything, because they run the spring and fall season side by side. So to do one show, you're there for 10 hours. Wow. 10, you don't know that. It's not an hour. It's 10 hours because you have to wait for everybody else to go through an event. And then they got to tear an event down, put it back up. OSHA's got to, inspect it. So through my martial arts, I was able to like pump up and then calm down. And they go, Rico, 5 minutes. And I already knew what I was going to do. So all of a sudden I started getting my juices. And that's why Zonko would call me Rock and Rico, because I would sit and rock in the back and psych myself and put myself through the event and then come out, and then that whistle goes and you just boom, you turn it on.
Wow.
So gladiators like that. And then they seeded us as we're all doing tryouts. They seeded us, and I for the fall I became #1 seed. So you get to choose your color, and then I kept winning, and so I chose red all the time. So I was red, and even made the red Challenger doll with my picture on the little doll box.
That's awesome. Now, Chris, before you ask your question, I just want to say to Rico too that years later, I think 2 or 3 years later, after you debuted on the main roster, when they had Tough Enough 4, they actually brought in 2 guys from American Gladiator. I think one of them was Justice. I think his name was Justice Smith, and the other one was Daniel Rodheimer, and they were part of the season 4 of WWE's Tough Enough. And just want to say that they were actually former American Gladiators.
Now is that Hawk? I don't know about their real names.
I gotta look up the names though, but I just Daniel Rodheimer was one of them, and then I think Justice Smith was his name.
I remember Justice Smith from that season of Tough Enough.
Yeah. After the first year, see, when we went in there, they said if you won your season, you get to come back as a gladiator. So that was my whole goal: come back as a gladiator. Well, the creator and myself did not get along. So when I called him on it, he told the producer, no, I don't want Rico in the show. So I went, okay. I got that belt made, and I went around and I did children's charities, about 10 different of them for a whole year. That 91, after I won it 90 to 91 until they had a new champion, I did children's charities all over California, Arizona, Vegas, and going out as Rico Costa, American Gladiator champion. And I remember them calling me at the end of it, and their lawyer said, okay, we hear you did all these charities. I said, yeah. Yep. And they go, well, we need 10% of whatever you made because you went out and used the Gladiator name, and you need to get us that paperwork and pay us. I said, oh, okay, I can do that for you right now. You can? I said, yeah. I said, what's 10% of nothing? What do you mean? I said, I did a charity. I didn't get paid. I said, so there, 10% of nothing is nothing. Take it.
But you know what? To you to give the charity though, it's just so beautiful and awesome to hear though. I'm
Yeah.
very happy to hear that though. That's
Oh, they were great. The kids were great. Special Olympics were fantastic. And I told this before real quick. I have the picture, Orange County Register. They had the track and field event for the Special Olympics kids where they compete all day. You know, everybody gets a hug. Well, this one young boy was so infatuated with my belt, you know, and he was holding it a lot, and he wanted to take it. I explained, well, you can't take it because, you know, I earned that. And I said, but I tell you what, I'll race you for it so you could hold it the rest of the day. And his eyes got real big and he went and told somebody, I was just going to race him down the field, just he and I. Well, it got back to the people putting the event on. So after everybody got their trophies and stuff, like this was like the dart or the main event after the main event. Everybody was lined up on the sidelines and he and I are at one end of the goal line and the belt's at the other end. Somebody's holding it up and the whistle goes. So I take off real quick and then I slow down and he catches up and he goes ahead and the kids are going crazy back and forth. And I catch up a little and he gets it and he's running and we're doing neck and neck and he wins. Oh, he wins.
Oh.
And the Orange County Register got a picture of me holding his hand up with the belt and his smile would melt the hardest of hearts. That's how beautiful that was. And it made the front page.
And you
the
wonder,
words out of my mouth.
And you wonder why I call you an inspiration, Rico. You really are, man.
Speaks volumes to you as a person, man. That's beautiful.
Got to give back.
Always.
Got to give back.
Bless you for that.
Wow.
Chris, what would you
Speaking of giving back, in a sense, who would you say was most influential to you during your career? Like who was somebody that made it, encouraged you or, just gave you pointers or looked at your work and said, hey man, you're doing good. I like this match, or this is what you could have did, or who you had that kind of rapport with?
Well, in the beginning, I have to say this, and I say this every time I get the chance to. The reason why I became who I was is because of Danny Davis's, OVW's core people. Rob Conway, Nick Dinsmore, Flash Flanagan, Doug and Danny Basham. If those guys wouldn't have put in the effort they did to me, I wouldn't have been able to pick it up so fast. So my success is based on what they gave. Each one of them gave me a piece of them to take to the ring. And I'll never forget that. So first and foremost, Danny's guys. Blessing. Influential, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Pat Patterson, because I would come up with these moves and I just didn't know where to put them. So I'd either talk to these people or Malenko, Finley. I'd say, listen, I got this move. It looks like this. Well, where do I put something like this? He goes, well, how do you set it up? This and that. And they would help me out. So those people were very influential and really had a genuine caring about my career. Billy Gunn too. Chuck's Chuck. He just wants to wrestle. Chuck's Chuck.
Yeah.
But Billy, I mean, when I first got out there, how'd I come out? I was a manager. I knew nothing about managing. I barely knew wrestling. So they put me out as a manager and I'm flipping. I go, Billy, well, I don't know how to manage. He goes, don't worry, kid, I got you. I'm older than you, kid. And I followed Billy's lead and the stylist, man, and they couldn't wait to get their hands on me.
And when you went, actually, I'm gonna ask that when I the next question. But also, I wanted to get your time though when you won your first OVW Heavyweight Championship. I believe it was against Rob Conway, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the coal miner's glove match in Louisville Gardens. And I got to chuck big old Kenny Bolin from the top rope. And when he hit, Cornette went, I think the earth just went off kilter. It's off its axis.
Oh my word.
And then I got to work Stone Cold in Kentucky, where he stunned me, did the old beer trick on him. Because when I became a heel, I was the role model, and Cena was my prototype.
Was the
And I was
prototype?
telling,
Right.
yeah, and I was telling all the people. Now they say it Louisville, but I say all you people in Louisville, and
Oh, I bet they hated that.
oh,
Immediate heat.
big
Immediate
time.
heat.
Oh, I used to come out. I had a comb in my boot. When I got the guy down, boom, 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 and he's trying to come back up, I just take my comb and I comb my hair, and then I'd go stoink, just flick my sweat in his face, dink, and then throw the comb.
Oh man.
But Rico, you were part of that class, right? That class that had Brock Lesnar in it.
Ruthless aggression.
Ruthless aggression, and I believe Batista was Leviathan, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of main names came out of that class. Like
Oh yeah,
you did Cena, Shelton, Randy Orton.
Shelton, yeah.
Randy Orton, all of them.
That
That
stellar
I was the
year.
first one in, and that class. I mean, we all came up. The only one that got the shaft was Ron Waterman, and it wasn't his fault. He was a good wrestler, legit badass, but Steiner came in. He signed from WCW, and Ron looked like Steiner. Vince wasn't going to have it,
Mm,
so he got
gotcha.
kind of shafted.
I think another name they also said got shafted too was a gentleman named and I think this was back in the Heartland Wrestling Association. And that was what's it, Steve Bradley.
No, oh Bobby, I wrestled Bobby, and I won the. Was it Steve Bradley or Bobby Bradley? Because
Steve,
I held 3 titles in 1 year.
I think it was Steve Bradley. It was
Steve Brad, that's it, Steve. Yeah, Steve. He was tremendous. Also helped me out. I forgot about him. Yeah, he was Power Pro, and he let me win the title on him. And then I went to Heartland. I was wrestling 3 leagues: OVW, Heartland, and I wore all heavyweight titles at once in 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby Bradley. Yeah, he got the shaft. Yeah, he was a really good technical wrestler. He could cut a good promo. I don't know, but when Bill DeMott got down there, because Bill was helping with Heartland, and Cornette was helping with Power Pro and OVW, but you know they had so much talent because WCW got bought out, ECW got bought out, a lot of territories went down, so everybody was flocking to these territories, and here they're having to pick. And I don't know how Steve got overlooked, but because I don't know how to, pick, and it's got to be an it factor. That's what I got told when I came up. You got to have it, and whatever it is, Vince knows it.
Yeah.
So the only thing Vince didn't like about me was my age.
And you, by the way, you looked much better than people that were younger than you, though. Like, I think you had the look. You really did have the look. Screw the age. You had the look. You had the appearance to be on TV. You can cut promos. You could wrestle.
Pop right off the screen.
You had the whole package, Rico. You had what Kurt Angle had. You can wrestle and you can talk. Like, not many people have all like the package deal.
Right. But I was a student of the game, if you want to call it. I watched, like, when they had the matches, like every week, the Raw or the SmackDown was played on video while in the catering room at TV, and I would sit there and watch other people's matches, watch mine, and I'd take notes. I'd have it recorded. This is when they only had VHS, didn't have CDs yet or DVDs, and I would come home and I'd watch all the matches and mine and go, okay, I could do this better. I could do this better, and I took the mentality of like pro football on how they better themselves, and
Studying tape. Absolutely. Studying tape. Yeah.
Tape. Yeah.
I agree.
Studying tape. And that's, like I said, that's what I did on Gladiators. Studied tape. So I knew what Nitro, I knew what he was good at. I knew what Laser was good at. I knew what Gemini was good at.
Effective strategy, sir.
Yeah, it works.
Chris,
Gotcha.
sorry.
Yes.
What was your next question? I'm sorry.
So during your time as the role model, of course, as you alluded to a little earlier, you brought in the prototype, John Cena. What was it like working with Cena during that time, early on in his career?
Very professional. Did his job. Wasn't much for getting out and into the public or something like that, but he was a great promo cutter. So was Kenny. And to me, I followed, but that's what he just told me, all I want to do is kick, stomp, punch. You do all the fancy stuff. I just want to kick, stomp, punch. I said, okay. But just the way we would work together, our chemistry together with Kenny Bolin Once
Right.
John got to accept Kenny was part of this team and he helps bring heat. I mean, it was Cornette and they had Disciples of Sin, which BJ Payne, Damien, Leviathan, and then it was me, Cena, and Jack Black. But we were two heel teams.
Right.
We're going for the Southern Tag Team Championship belt, and these people didn't know who to cheer. They would cheer us, and then they would cheer them, and they'd cheer
Who's
us.
the lesser of two evils?
Yeah,
Right.
two bad guys, but they stayed. It was a television main event, and we had to go to I think 1 or 2 commercials. That's how long Danny gave us for the time to build it. But once Leviathan came in, John and I, donk, we were bouncing all over the place, because you had to put him over big, because
Right.
he was big.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Awesome.
But just the little stuff we put together because of that. Cornette, very, very intelligent when it comes to that style of wrestling, the old school Memphis style, Tennessee, Southern, Florida. He's very good at that. And he can, if you do what he says, he can make you capture the people. Like I said, I was the biggest baby face the biggest baby face. And then when I got my leg, when I tore my patella tendon wrestling Flash, I came back and Bolin told Kenny, we're going to bring Rico back as a heel. He goes, you kidding me? He can't be a heel. He's the biggest baby face we got.
Right.
Bolin said, give me 6 weeks and he'll be your biggest heel. And it took 3.
Wow.
Yeah. Took 3.
Half the time.
And there was a young boy in the audience. Dustin Cotton was his name. Cerebral palsy. And he was in his chair, and I used to wrestle with the wristbands. And every time I go out of the ring, I would take a wristband off and I put it on him and give him a little head kiss, hey buddy, because he was always there. And every time I'd look at him, he'd get all excited in the chair, and then I had to be a bad guy. So I couldn't really acknowledge him. So so I would get out of the ring and I go yell at in house shows. I go, what are you still doing here? I told you don't ever come to my matches again. And he'd be like, oh, like this. And I'd say, I don't come back no more. I don't want to see you here again. And I'm looking at him and he's part of the show. So I would do that. And anytime I saw him doing that, I'd get on the ropes and act like while the face is down. And I get up and I go, are you still here? And he would just get excited as all. And I remember being with his family, his mom and his grandparents raising him. And cerebral palsy, I don't know if everybody knows, that hurts. When they put the kids through physical therapy, they feel pain. But you got to stretch them out or else they will curl up, So it's very painful. Dustin had his good days and his bad days. And his grandma would call me, Rico, can you come to therapy with Dustin? And I said, yeah, put on his wristband. I got mine. And I'd meet him at therapy and he'd get through it. And I still talk to him today. We message to this day. He's a grown kid, got a beard and everything. I'm like, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I talk to him to this day.
Oh, that's priceless.
Yeah.
That's priceless.
Dustin Cotton, what a kid.
Now you made your debut on the main roster on March 21st, 2002 on the episode of SmackDown. This is the week before the brand extension. As you debuted as the stylist for Billy and Chuck. What were your memories debuting on the main roster at the time?
I was at home. I had the week off. They called me on Monday, said you need to be here on Tuesday. For what? You just need to get up here. We got the ticket. What am I doing? You'll find out. Get up here. That's my memory of it. Now I don't know what's going on. Then they tell me I'm going to be the stylist for Billy and Chuck. And I'm like, okay, Vince, what kind of a hairstylist? What kind of stuff? He goes, flesh it out. Work it out yourself. And he walked away. I went, okay. So the first night I didn't have time to do nothing. So I came out, black shirt, black pants. Like, remember Stevie Richards came out right to censor with the white shirt. And then he went to do the bald guy tag team and he came out black on black. My sideburns were just starting to grow. And so I said, for the first night, I'll do that. And the second, I'll think about it when I get home. And so that was my first memory of it. I was terrified. Like I said, I went to Billy. I don't know how to manage. I got you, kid. And we did that first match. I hung Matt Hardy over the ropes. Billy gave him the famouser. And those Canadians love the Hardy Boys because I've never been snowballed so bad. Because in that arena, you go down and you go in. Everybody is up above you. They're throwing snowballs down at me. I'm running for my car. And it's only show. It's entertainment. I got you pissed. I did my job.
Yeah.
So that was my first memory of it, going, holy crap. So I came home, and I used to sit in the 30-minute tan beds, not the 10-minute high intense. I just sat in the 30 minutes and I would think, okay, what kind of stylist? And then finally it hit me. I know what I'm going to be an image consultant, like a posh New York image consultant. And I'm thinking of all this. So Godfather lives here. And I've known Bear even before wrestling. Back in the 80s, I knew Bear. That's his name. Godfather was known as Bear.
Oh, okay.
Big guy. And I called him. I said, hey, Bear, where'd you get all those fancy clothes? Because he's semi-retired now. And I said, I need some of these crazy clothes. And I told him my idea. He said, that's a great idea. Go to this swap meet over there by Decatur and Alta, and you'll find everything. So that's when I started coming out with the alligator suit, the YMLO, the blue rims with the blue belly button rings. And then was red shirt, red belly button rings, Then I started to develop the stylist, and then I started coming out with the snake skin. And then I started doing the tiger stripes, and then always doing my hair, like this. And then, but that's how I got all those crazy clothes. And I just kept developing the character. So I always change it. But one thing I did, I don't think a lot of people do, is I used to go out after every house show, television show. I used to go sign autographs to the people, and I just mingle with them. And people aren't afraid to give their opinion. And they go, hey, you know what would be real funny? And I go, no, tell me. And they tell me. I write it down. Oh, you know what would be awesome? Oh, what? Because who do you think's watching us? What do they want to see? The best compliment I ever got is from a few people, and they go, Rico, we love you. We love your character. And I said, why? He goes, because we don't know what you're going to do from week to week.
Yes.
That's a compliment. They don't know what I'm going to do or what I'm going to come out in, or what move. Either it's the donkey ride, the pat, the kiss on the cheek, or the arm takeover where their arm's between my legs and their arm is doing this, just stupid stuff. But they just want to see something different,
right?
So
you kept it fresh.
Got to, yeah, you got to, especially being a mid card guy. My job as a heel was because they started me out as a heel. My job was to make the face look good, and the fans. That's who eventually turned me face. The fans did it.
Yeah.
They did it in Japan first. Oh my God, that was funny. Yep, they did it in Japan.
What was that like?
Well, Japan, they're different kind of fans. They sit there and they'll watch and they'll go, ooh, and you'll do a move and they'll go, oh yeah, and they go, and you're doing a move, but they're doing a big move, oh yeah. And they watch you. You're like, okay, they like that. Now you can't get like Americans. The whole match they're screaming, So we go to Japan. We're going wrestling Tokyo 2 nights. I'm going out. I'm wrestling Stevie Richards. Stevie is a face now, and I'm with my sideburns. And I've never been to Japan. Stevie wrestled Japan a while. So we go to lock up, and everybody's yelling, Mo Miyagi, Mo Miyagi, Mo Miyagi. And I'm like, what is that? So I lock up again with Stevie and I go, what are they saying? He goes, I don't know. I said, they're calling me Mo Miyagi. What's that mean? He goes, they're calling you a fag. Okay. Then I broke and I say, shush, shush, shush. And I'm shushing the audience, getting on the shush.
Right.
Going like this, shush. So I do the match with Stevie. Now, every time I start doing my kicks, these people going crazy. Stevie doesn't move there, but when I'm doing the jumping snap kick, it's a Guri. Oh, they're going heel kick, all of that. The sideburn stunner. Oh, they're going nuts. And then Stevie puts it over on me, and I'm laying there, and then Stevie leaves the ring, and they start doing for me to get up. So I'm gonna milk this. Oh,
Started rallying behind you. Yeah.
yeah, I told the ref, come help me. And the ref goes, no, I don't want. I said, help me, please, help me, please. And the people are like, so the ref helps me back, and I go all the way up, and I turn around, I give him a bow. Oh, they go crazy. So I go back, and Dean Malenko goes, good job, blankety blank. I said, what? He goes, now I got to put you out as a face tomorrow.
Now you're baby face.
You just baby faced yourself. And so that's when Val Venus was Chief Morley. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I went out and wrestled Chief Morley, and that night they understood everything, and they booed the right guy and they yayed the right guy, you know, and that was a barn burner of a match. You know, Val was also very good wrestler, good technical, and a nice guy. Very nice guy. Yeah. He had a good storyline when Jackie and I first came out, you know, and he pitched it to the writers and they dunked on it. And it was a great angle. It would have been a great angle because he's the porn star. I've got the valet, you know, and I'm this. You don't know what I am. Yeah.
Right.
Is he gay? Is he not gay? Look what he's got. Look who's doting over him. So that was a good angle, and they crapped on it. So I never got to work Val that way.
What could have been?
Yeah, but you know, once Vince owns everything, he don't get the best writers. I kept saying you need to get some people from soap operas. You need to hire some soap opera writers and bring them in. They know how to tell a story.
Yeah,
you know,
40, you talking 40 years, man. Young and the Restless is still every weekday.
General Hospital, yes. Another World. My mom used to watch them all.
They did at one
time. Yeah.
At one time, they did bring in Freddie Prinze Jr. one time.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did one time. It was briefly, but they tried. Unfortunately, like WWE has a history of just releasing people for no good reason.
I think during that time, that was when Jeff Hardy had got to the championship during his time of being a writer, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right. Chris, what was your next question?
So, given the fact that your WWE persona it differs from who you are as a person in real life, right?
Yeah.
How were you able to identify with the character? Like, what were some of the challenges that you faced?
I don't know if it's challenges. Don't forget, I did acting. I was a stuntman. I played Batman at Six Flags. I was in the Conan show. I did a couple of movies, and I took acting classes and stuff like that. And I'm what you call a method actor. I will get into the character. I did I become that person. So when I'm behind that curtain and I do the matches, I get ready. But when I'm in the gorilla box, I become Rico the stylist. That's like an alter ego, an alter personality. I become that. That's why people believed in me when I did, because I believed that was me. Like the Chuck wedding. The tears, then the happiness, and then the evilness, because you wouldn't say I do. Come on, boys, let's get this. And then when Eric said, wait a minute, did I hear myself say 3 minutes? And I started. And did you see that evil grin?
Yes. Nailed it.
Yeah, that evil grin, and that was it. Yeah, but see, there's no challenges. I will say, went to New York, and in New York they have a separate school for that lifestyle. I was filming Rico's runway, where this contestant won, and I get to give him a full makeover. And we're in New York, and we're filming and stuff like that. Well, everybody from that school, usually they're elbowing me and Charlie out of the way to get to Jackie. Well, they elbowed Charlie and Jackie out of the way to all come talk to me. And we sat there on break, and we were talking, and they asked me, are you really? No, I'm not. But, you know, I don't know how to say it. It's just I just understand it, you know.
Right.
And when I did this character, and I got to say this too, with Billy and Chuck, we told Vince, we'll do this as long as it doesn't put them in a bad light or insult them or do anything to that way of life. And that was my rule when I took this exotic Adrian Street character. Adrian is still alive. I told Triple H, well, if he's alive, I need to go, one, ask him permission to plagiarize his character. Two, I want to know
Right.
what he did to make it good back then. And I want to know how to bring it into the millennium.
Right.
They said, okay. So they sent me to Gulf Breeze, and Adrian and I and his wife, Linda, we talked for about 10, 11 hours and how to bring
Wow.
it in and that. And he had a company called Skull Crushers, and he made wrestling uniforms. So to thank him, I said, okay. I said, for the next year, I'm buying all my uniforms from you, all the tights from you. And I did.
Good guy, man.
Cool.
Good guy.
Yeah, very
Wow.
good, very good guy. Bless, many blessings. And I do want to get your opinion though, and I wanted to ask this question too. You were drafted when WWE had their first brand extension in March of 2002. You, along with Billy and Chuck, were drafted to SmackDown. Were you told like what were your memories of that particular draft, and what was that room they had you in, where everyone on the roster was sitting in that back room or something? Like, what was that room?
It was somewhere in the arena. That I don't remember too well. Don't remember the draft too well. No, but everything was just new. And unfortunately, from the illness I had, I was suffered from for 3 years. There's some memories that I don't have anymore. So please forgive me
No worries.
on that.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I will say this too, Rico, that you are two kinds of inspirational. You are the inspirational that's very beautiful, and you are also the hilariously inspirational, because I remember when Vince came out and he announced, because he was trying to get all the champions on one show, he announced the tag team champions, Billy and Chuck, were drafted to SmackDown. I remember you were so excited. You were screaming, "Oh no, we got drafted, boys. We gotta get new bananas. We gotta get new robes. Come on, let's go."
Oh, I have no memory of that. It's gone. But you guys remember it. That's even better.
It was
Yeah.
funny, like at that, and also we're gonna talk about the Billy and Chuck one very soon though. But when you
Okay.
there's a scene though that I was dying. I actually do this, like this is where you inspire me, hilariously inspire me though. Like when they're playing "It's Raining Men" with those lovely women that were singing the song.
Yeah.
We're doing this awesome dance like this. I thought it was great. That was great. Oh, I was like dying when I saw this as a kid. I couldn't stop laughing. I felt like my sides were splitting.
You just get in a moment. You just, like I said, you become the character. What would this character do?
Oh,
You know,
Right.
he's excited. He's an image consultant. He does this. He's got the tag. The boys, we wanted this. We wanted this. I wanted it to mean something to the fans that we got drafted. This is great. So they feed off our energy. That's,
right.
and you pull them in. So if you're that excited, genuinely, which I was just happy to be on the show.
Right.
I mean, as old as I was, to get a shot like that, to live a childhood dream, because whenever as a kid, you wanted to be a Hulk Hogan, you wanted to be the Dragon, Steamboat. You want to be people like that. You want to be the hero, So here I am many years later, living my dream. So
bless you.
yeah, I'm glad you guys remembered that. I forgot that one.
Oh, it was awesome.
Certainly, man.
And I think Chris, before you ask your question, I think you could agree with me too that 2002 was definitely a time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh,
it
yeah.
definitely was, man. You had it was a little bit of something for everybody.
Yes.
Man. It was something for everybody, especially as you alluded to earlier. ECW had closed its doors, WCW had closed its doors, and it was just an influx of talent under one roof. So it was just like, oh man, that was what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Basically.
I got two special things that year though. Like I graduated 5th grade that year, and I got probably the most entertaining wrestling I've seen in a very long time. And also watching SmackDown, watching Billy and Chuck, watching Rico, watching Edge, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle. All them was just incredible though. But what was your question, Chris?
Speaking of the brand extension in the draft, were you guys aware of where you guys were being drafted prior to the actual announcement?
No, I didn't.
Oh wow.
I did. Maybe the top guys did, but
Right.
I don't know. I think they wanted that surprise reaction out of everybody, I guess. But I didn't know. The only thing what you do know is like a Royal Rumble. You know
Okay.
when you come in and and who takes and throws you out. That and
Right.
that so that's about the only thing They make decisions, and they make decisions. Again, I was just discussing this the other day. Like with when I debuted as Rico, just Rico with the makeup with Miss Jackie, my
Yeah.
first match, I came out on Velocity and I wrestled Jamie Noble, and I went over, And they said, okay, we're going to put you on SmackDown next week. So I wrestled Charlie Haas next week. And how I beat him is I kissed him and he
Right,
couldn't
I
come back
remember.
in the ring. Right. So now we're going to next
remember
week's
that.
show and I'm supposed to wrestle another singles match. Well, Pat Patterson came up and he goes, you know what? You got to be tag champion with Charlie. That you this triangle. And he goes, Jackie likes you, you like Charlie, Charlie likes Jackie, and we'll go off because Charlie is a straight guy. He's just doesn't put up with any nonsense. He doesn't like no games when he wrestles. And here I am, Mr. Flamboyant. So he's the straight guy, and I'm Mr. Flamboyant. So Pat, the show was already made. So Pat runs into there and tells Vince this idea. Well, Vince changes the whole tag match because it was Scotty 2 Hotty and Rikishi against, I guess, I can't remember who, but he changes it to Charlie, and he goes out there because it's his turn for tag championship, but
Right.
Shelton got drafted to Raw.
Yep.
So he has no partner. So Charlie's goes, he's going to get a mystery partner. And then he's out there. Charlie's mystery partner. We're all waiting. Charlie's mystery partner. You look so. He like, no. He's telling everybody, no. And I started doing my antics. And second day, I was champion with Charlie. That's how
Wow.
fast things can switch in a show.
Now
Wow.
did you introduce Jackie to Charlie, or was Charlie already dating Jackie at this point?
No, they weren't dating, and I didn't introduce them. In fact, I had to be told by Doug and Danny Basham that they were dating.
Oh,
I didn't even know. I went, no, and Doug looked at me and goes, "You really that stupid?" I said, "Doug, I'm here to work. I'm not worried about scuttlebutt or rumor or who does what. As long as they show up and do their job." See, that's the advantage I had over a lot of kids. I knew what I was there for. It's a job.
Right.
I don't care about, Jackie's dating this one, or as long as she shows up and does her job. That's it.
I see. And also, I don't know if this was the same match or not, but I remember there was a really funny spot that happened where Charlie was about to get stink face, but then you pushed him aside.
No, that's the first match.
That was it. Okay, and then
That's the first match. Yeah.
Oh man, I was dying.
Jackie kicked the Carmex, pulled it out. Give me that. Ha! Through the Carmex. Bring it on. Back it up. He's like, okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. See, but you do stuff like that, and people are just like, "Oh my god," you don't expect it, but then all of a sudden you're laughing. Like one match with the Bashams, I've been doing my little ride 'em cowboy thing, and I already done. Charlie goes, "Tag me in." I said, "You want in?" He goes, "Yeah, tag me." We're in Oklahoma. He's wearing my tights because I stole his shorts.
Oh,
You got to see that. They got to see that from the beginning. So he's going to tag, and he goes like this, and I go. I put my hand up high. Tag me like up here, like this. I got my hand like this.
Right.
And he goes like this, and I go, and my hand's way up here. So he goes, "Oh, all right." He goes like that, and he puts his hand like that, and I went, "Hey, look," to everybody. Because Charlie did this. And he goes, "Come on, be serious." So he holds his hand out, and I go like this. And he goes, "Give me that." And then we go wrestle. And he wrestled Basham.
Oh.
But not only was I having fun with Doug and Danny, but I was also torturing my partner, who was just too stiff. He's a straight guy,
Right.
Awesome.
Excuse me, my brother's a Sox fan.
Oh, no
6-0. That's the score. You're in the middle of my podcast, you boob. This is my meathead brother right here.
Hello.
This is Meatball.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
Sir. I got to ask you this, Rico, too, because I think this was probably the greatest segment in SmackDown history, and that is Billy and Chuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If that would have been on Raw, that'd have been the greatest kayfabe in the history of wrestling. The dirt sheets ruined it. But go ahead and ask me, and I'll tell you about it.
I was just gonna ask you, like, your memory of doing it, working with Stephanie McMahon and Eric Bischoff, because they were both in this segment.
Yep.
And of course, just I saw the excitement. You can see the excitement that you're having. Like, I remember you came out like in character complaining about how like the weather's not going right. You wanted Stephanie McMahon to come out, and you're like, "This is all wrong. I didn't order pansies. I ordered tulips."
See, you just do stuff. And I'll tell you though, that why it was such the greatest kayfabe is because Vince kayfabed the boys. He brought Eric to the arena in that full makeup. Eric was there running around, shaking his leg. Oh, nice to meet you. And Vince took him to the green room or to the area cafeteria. Vince got up and got him a plate. Vince was serving him like he was a real minister and kayfabed everybody. The only people who knew it was Stephanie, Vince, me, Billy, Chuck, Rosie, Jamal. Yeah, that's about all who knew. Even the boys in the back didn't know that was Eric Bischoff under that makeup.
It was so convincing. I did not even think that was Eric at all when I saw this, and I heard his voice. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I mean, when everybody went, oh, it was like a vacuum. My ears popped in the arena. I mean, did you? But the dirt sheets ruined it for the SmackDown audience because they gave it away. Yeah. But even though they knew it, they still thought that was a great segment. We got real good. Right. So when I went to Raw, Vince for doing such a because I've never done long monologues like that or promos like that. That was a 4.5, 5-page promo that I had to memorize because each time I did certain things, it cued something happening. Cued like when The Godfather came out to tell Chuck and Billy, what the hell is going on? You know, Billy, you used to be a ladies' man. Oh, Chuck, you got that backside. Oh my God, what are you doing? You know. Remove thyself from the building, or I will have you removed. That's a removeth thyself. Who says that?
Right.
and we're actually one of the first people to attack, before Jamal and Rosie came out. Like, didn't you attack or low blow Billy?
Yeah, I low blow because they would like, come on, Chuck, because Chuck was the one hold out, wouldn't say let's do it. And then they started, boom, low blow Billy, and Rosie and Jamal were on the way, and Eric and Stephanie, and then in come the boys, and then Billy got a hold of me and was wrangling me, and then Samoan drop, doom, doom, doom. Then Stephanie, Samoa dropped her ass, and then all the SmackDown roster come out, we run.
Oh man.
I know you you were angry, in character you were angry though, but when you're yelling at them for not going through with the ceremony, I couldn't stop laughing. You were like, how dare you? I've done all this for you and this is how you repay me?
Yeah. I was a scorned prima. You scorned me.
Yes.
You're ruining my publicity stunt.
Hell have no fury like a Rico scorn.
Yeah. He said hell hath no fury like a Rico storm.
Chris,
but to reward me, Vince let me wrestle Ric Flair the next week. Eric called me out, and I got to wrestle Ric Flair, and I got to go over on him.
Was that the segment where Bischoff was in the spotlight? And
yep.
Okay.
Yep. I wanna bring in. I think he said my new best friend or whatever, and I came out in the tiger stripes. He says, "You're gonna wrestle Ric Flair." And to me, I was like, oh my God, I get to wrestle. Woo!
Oh man. And
yeah. He could still chop that little sucker. He could chop.
I was Chris, before you ask your question, I just want to say I was upset when you left SmackDown because I love the SmackDown brand, and I guess at the time you're either Team SmackDown or Team Raw though. But when I saw you go to Raw, I was like, oh man, I'm really gonna miss Rico on SmackDown.
Yeah, they wanted two different characters. I started SmackDown, then I went to Raw. That's when I did that makeup character, and then Japan turned me face, and Dean told him that, hey, he's a pretty good face. People are catching on to what he's doing, and that's when right before WrestleMania 20, the evening gown match, and I had Stacy Keibler and Jackie in the ring. We were posing, and then Kane comes out and just kills me. Crushes me, and then I stay off TV for 2 weeks, and that's when I go visit Adrian, and I come back in that character, and I started looking at old Adrian makeup things, so I started coming out in the full makeup instead of just the eyeliner and that stuff. I developed into a character kind of like Warrior did with his face paint with the mask. That was my face paint. That was my Warrior paint to me. The glitter, the design, the makeup matches the clothes type thing.
And sorry, Chris. I just want to know, because I had so many questions about the commitment ceremony. The women,
go ahead.
The women that were singing, the women that were singing "It's Raining Men," were those legit singers or were those?
No, those are legit singers, but we couldn't get the ladies who really sang "It's Raining Men." Vince tried to get them, and they wouldn't do it.
Oh man, and
But
Oh,
those are real
wow.
singers.
I got so upset when they cut that out of the WWE network because I thought that was one of the funniest and inspirational scenes I've ever seen. Though when they came out, the "It's Raining Men," like,
Yeah.
oh man, like the whole segment was just awesome.
Yeah.
Chris,
Oh man, just what was it like working with Flair that match?
Oh, it was an honor. I mean, here I am with a what 18-time, 16-time world champion. You know, I
Yeah,
had to move a little slow because I move quick. Even back then, I was quick, so I had to slow it down a little bit and give him the respect he did is due. You notice I didn't chop him;
right.
he chopped me. But he took my jumping Itziguri off the rope and he did the Ric Flair flop. Boom! He gave me the Ric Flair flop, so he gave me, you know, he respected me. Like I said, I got a lot of respect for him letting me get, as we say in the biz, get our shit in.
Right.
He let me get my stuff in. But during the match, I started to pick it up, and he goes, slow down, slow down. I said, okay. So I threw him in the rope buckle, let him go down and catch his breath. And then we did,
Right.
then we went to the finish. But yeah, that was about his only thing. But Rick's not used to wrestling like that. When I was wrestling Mysterio, Van Dam, Shane
Right.
Helmsley, Cena, I was wrestling all the guys that move.
Yeah, I
Especially
got a quick
Mysterio.
pace.
I
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean Ray Mysterio crawl over me like a 4-wheeler on a mountain, and you have to catch this guy because he trusts
Right.
you, and he's very talented. And if you ever get a look at it, it's in Mohegan Sun. And if you look at YouTube, it's Rey Mysterio versus Rico. You can't put it the other way around. But it's a 7.5 minute, 8-minute barn burner of a match. I pull out moves that they didn't know I had, but Ray let me do. But
Right.
because they wouldn't let me do certain moves. But Ray let me go to town, and I went all out, and so did he. And it was a barn buster. I had all 16,000 people screaming at once, Rico sucks. Oh, yeah? I hit Ray down. Rico sucks. Oh, I suck. Okay. Pick him up. I hit him down again.
Yep.
Rico sucks. I go to pick him up. Ray hits me in the stomach. Oh, hits me again. Hits me again. Then I do the spin kick to the stomach and the step over heel kick. And I said,
Mhm.
now what do you think of me? Yeah. Ooh.
Drawing the crowd in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And they're going, what a move. So I pull them out to the center, and I can do a long moonsault. I can do a long, high moonsault. So I put him out past the center of the ring, and I'm getting up there, and he's going to move. But everybody's like, oh, no, he's got him. Whoop. Ray moves at the last second. I hit the ground, and they all cheered. And I'm with a kick in, and then he does his comeback. And then I get him once, and then he comes back, and of course I get the 619. I get the West Coast pop, and the people are out of their seats. They're just jumping up and down. And the two announcers, Taz and Cole, put it over great, during the announcing. And they always put me over. And I was always nice. I was always grateful for Taz, Bill DeMott, even JR. JR always put me over, even over the heel. But Rico was a Las Vegas police officer. He even bodyguarded, did that. But he always put me over. He's an expert martial artist, so he was always good to me.
That's what's up.
that's awesome.
Any memories of working with Bischoff?
Oh yeah, Jarek and I got along good. Eric he would always go back and read a book. He never mixed up with everybody. I used to say hi to him a lot, but I just gave him his respect because I'd always thought, God, he was working for this other company and really making it work, and then it got bought out from under him. Now he's got to work for his former competition.
Right.
And he was still a professional about it. He gave it his all, in everything he did, not just the wedding. Eric gave it his all in everything, but he was focused, So I got a lot of respect for Eric, a lot of respect. And yeah, he was great to work with.
I'll never forget the segment between you and Bischoff though, when after I think Rikishi posed as a drag woman, and then he stink faced Bischoff at the end, and then all the guys were watching in the back, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna tell Mr. Bischoff you're watching this. I'm gonna go right up to him and tell him what you're doing. That's not right. You show some respect to your boss.
I see another memory gone, but I have so many of them. Thank God.
What were you? I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, thank God. Go ahead.
I was just curious to know, like, your thoughts on from switching brands from SmackDown to Raw.
The only difference is you're on a time limit on Raw because it was live. There's a little more pressure on Raw. That's the only difference. The guys are the guys. You know, writers are the writers. The agents are the agents. So the only thing is that you have to be very precise on Raw. That's it.
I see. Yeah, because it's live and SmackDown's taped Tuesday, which aired on Thursday at the time, right?
Yep, at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
So we could go over and they could cut the match, or it could with somebody go under, they could add a promo, you know, they could do stuff like that on the when they edit it. So
Right.
not as much pressure, but still Vince wanted that professionalism in case you do go back to Raw. He doesn't want to let you all slack off and then you got to go to Raw and you just don't know how to do your matches.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
you're not listening to the ref who's giving you the countdown when to go home. Yeah. And you know we all work our matches backwards, right?
How you mean?
Yeah. How do
We don't work. You don't know that, do you?
No, no, sir.
Okay, the most important part of the match to Vince is the finish. That's the most important part of the match. So we work from the finish to the front.
Oh,
Now, depending on who's going to win, let's say I'm going over, okay, and I'm going to go over either with the heel kick because I went over pretty good 1, 2, 3 as a heel because of my martial arts. A lot of heels had to cheat, you know, shake them off the ropes or something. Or Vince let me go over 1, 2, 3 a lot. So we go like, hey, that's the finish. Okay, now the face has to have this comeback. How long is it going to take for you to do a comeback? Okay, that the finish and the comeback. Okay, that's going to take 2 minutes. All right. What about the heat? Okay, since I'm going to win, I'm going to do less heat, and then I'm going to give the face a lot more shine. So I get maybe 1.5 minutes of heat. The baby face gets about 2 minutes of shine, and then we get the introductions, which is about 1 minute apiece, and that's your match right there. So in the ref's ear is a mic hooked to a box, and Vince is in the gorilla box telling him 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, tell him to go home. And whatever we're doing, if I got him in a hold or something, the ref, like he's coming to check the throat, he leans in there to check the throat and goes, okay, 2 minutes, go home. Or he'll just say, go home. And then we start the process of doing the finish. That's how it's done.
But like when you're when you're going over the matches prior to the actual match itself, though, do you like when you're rehearsing it, do you do the actual like moves, or is it like, okay, we're gonna do this spot and then we're gonna do this? That's how we're gonna finish it.
Right. Well, at that level, when you get to that level, being in the WWE or F, whatever you want to call it, is like being like the minors getting called up to Major League Baseball. The AAA team, your OVW was AAA, you get called up to the big dance. You're Major League now. So you ought to know most of this. The only time you would rehearse something is if your first time wrestling this guy and you're not familiar with his signature move, like the West Coast pop. You know, you had to get used to that. That's the only time you would, but you'd only do it at a quarter speed. And they had pads out there, so you wouldn't hurt yourself. So yeah, as far as the match goes, no, we'll lock up. And some of the beginning of the stuff, we just talk to each other in the ear. Don't, or I'll do my shine, and you just take these bumps.
Oh, okay.
You know, but on that level, you do it 4 days a week, 5 days a week.
House shows.
Yeah, you do the house shows, and that's where you work out all the kinks. Because what Vince does is like, say it's, let's say it was Charlie Haas against, me and Charlie against the Bashams. Well, we'd start on Saturday, and we work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, house shows. And then Tuesday, we've worked out all the kinks. So it's going to look good. It's going to look polished on TV.
But so like live action would be more lenient because there's no time-wise, right?
Oh man, it is way lenient. You get to do a lot more at house shows, and the fans get a lot more at house shows. It's not as bright. There's no explosions or none of that. But you get a lot more. The wrestlers get to be wrestler. You know, you get to take the character up a little bit. You know, it's not. House shows are great.
Very cool, Christopher.
That's what's up. As mentioned earlier, right? You had 2 runs with the tag team championships, one with Rikishi and the other with Charlie Haas. Could you tell me about your time as tag team champions between both runs?
Oh, well, I'll tell the most common denominator thing is going through the airport. Because you're not allowed to put the belt in your checked luggage. The belt has to stay on your carry-on. And this is after 9/11. So what does a TSA guy do when he sends you back to? It's metal. He's got to check it out. So there's a bunch of people behind you. So he goes, "What is this?" and he holds up and people are like, oh, like they couldn't tell by the sideburns already. So that would be the only hard thing with the run is when the TSA guy takes your belt out and shows everybody, and then wants a picture, you know. My run with Rikishi, I didn't have to worry about anything but me wrestling because Rikishi's been around a long time. He knows the flow of the match. He's got the psychology of the match, and he knew I was new. And I knew this wasn't going to be a long run because my whole goal was to get the belt back to my guys. But then there once in a while I'd hold the belt and go, oh, I'm champion. I'm champion. The guys would come up and they go, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. Nothing. Yeah, who would love the belt? You know, or I'd go, yeah. And I would do this in front of Billy and Chuck. So Rikishi's run was real good. It was fun. It was short. Charlie's and I run were really good until Bubba hurt me in Chicago and had to take some time off. So we had to drop the belts there. We were just about to be on the cover of the magazine, Charlie, Jackie, and I, and my contract was coming up, and I asked Vince for a raise, and I just wanted $1,000 a week because I wasn't making a whole lot. I just $1,000 a week. I just wanted $52,000 raise. Told me no. So why not? He goes, your character's not over anymore. I said, you're going to put me on the cover, and I just ran with the belts, and my character's not over? Nope. Okay. You got 90 days to sign a contract or else I'm not coming back. Then right then, that was in November of 2004. All Japan kept calling me. Come on out, come on out. I said, can't. I'm under contract. No, we don't recognize that out here. I said, okay, that might be so, but this is my integrity. I promised Vince 90 days, and on the 90th day, the last hour, he could sign. Well, he didn't. I took the next plane out to All Japan, and Bull Buchanan and I were the first Americans to win the tag titles. I did it on my first night.
Wow. That's sweet.
Yeah. Remember Bull Buchanan?
Oh, yeah. He was he was B12 when he was with John Cena. Absolutely.
Yeah. He's another fantastic guy.
Yeah, I love his work, especially when he was with the Big Boss Man, when he was with Ray Traylor.
Great. He was also a nice guy, Ray.
I wish I got to met him. I was always a fan of Boss Man.
Yeah.
I spoke to his daughter recently about having her come on my show too, because I share some stories about her father. Like, hopefully, she gets back to me. Because I'd be happy to get anybody on, even if it's Terry Gordy's daughter, or like even kids of like professional wrestlers. I welcome, because I'm sure they have stories to tell about their fathers and mothers.
Or for me to say this, and you can tell them as I said it, for their father's legacy, tell them that we've never forgot them. We would love to hear stories that you have, not personal, but stories you have about your father and what he did and stuff like that. That would, it would honor the man. It would honor him. If you put it that way, I'm pretty sure the kin will come on. The kids will come on to honor their father.
I'm definitely gonna see if I'm gonna send another feeler out to see if they'd be on board for that. And of course, you mentioned the Rikishi. You worked with his brother Eddie Fatu. Like, what were your memories? Of course, working with the late Matt. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Matt Anoa'i and Eddie Fatu, Rose and Jamal.
Oh, it was never dull. They come from a background of wrestling family, and they rib. It just. I remember going. I used to have to try and rib them. Get them to go. We went to Baton Rouge in Louisiana, Bourbon Street, and we, after wrestling, and went to a bar, and they had the karaoke singing. You played air guitar and stuff. And I said, I'm going up there. I'm going to sing. No, you're not. Yeah, I'm going to sing. No, you won't. I went up there on stage, played my air guitar, and was pointing at them. Yeah, they're like, oh my God. And these two big 300-pound guys are trying to hide. So. Yeah, they were great. I got some story, but with this Rosie and Jamal, great to work with.
Awesome. And Matt's brother is currently the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns.
I got to see Roman. I went to a show a while ago, right when I started getting better, and I saw Roman, and I saw Randy, and we sat and talked a while. And Roman has just got the same personality as his brother.
He looks like him a lot.
Yeah.
Chris?
So In preparation for tonight, right? I had watched a couple of your previous interviews, and during one of your interviews, you could be quoted saying that that Steve Austin was Stone Cold Steve. If he was just Steve Austin dialed up to 10, that was Stone Cold, or John Cena when he came into his own was himself dialed up to 10, right?
Right.
So with your extensive background in like law enforcement and martial arts, how come a character more so akin to yourself wasn't pitched to you?
What did it? What was the last part of it?
I was saying
Yeah.
with your background in like law enforcement and your
Right.
martial arts background, how come a character that was I guess would be more complementary to that background, how come that wasn't pitched to you?
Oh, this is my own opinion. The only reason why, because they cut me before I even got up there. They cut me and they were going to cut Cena. Vince didn't understand what Cena was doing, and I was too old. But Jim Ross, Cornette, Danny Davis, and Stone Cold said, hey, you're going to let him go in 90 days. Bring the kid up. Again, bring the kid up and see if you can find a place for him in the roster. And so I was wrestling face, heel, whoever. I'd wrestle the main roster, and I'm just basically being a jobber, but still getting my shit out there, still showing that I can entertain, or I can pull them one day, get booing at me, or I can get them to cheer for me. This is the it factor. So Stephanie is the one that actually came up with Rico the Stylist character, because she was talking to Miss Jacqueline. Not Jackie Gator, Miss Jacqueline. Remember
Jackie Moore.
Yes.
Jackie Moore, yeah.
Mhm.
And I was getting ready to go out and wrestle Raven, and I'm stretching, and all of a sudden I see Stephanie and Jacqueline talking, and they're looking over at me. Now I know when somebody's looking at me. 15 years cop, bodyguard, 15 years on top of that. That's 30 years of I can see you, see me. I just got the hair thing. So I know they're looking, and then they're laughing, and now I know they're talking about me because I see them laughing. I go, is my fly down? I look, oh, I'm wearing tights. There's no fly. I did a hole back here, and I'm going through all this stuff. I don't know what's going on. So I wait for Stephanie to leave. I wrestle the match, and I make sure Stephanie, I'm not going to call Stephanie out. I said, come here, Jackie. I said, what were you two talking about? She goes, nothing. Can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. She goes, would you turn your hair bleach blonde? I said, sure, I'd do it. Okay. And walked away. So I didn't know any more or any less. I just got told that. And then 2 weeks later, boom, but they didn't have me bleach my hair because Billy and Chuck had the blonde.
Had the blonde hair, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess I was the here I am, the stylist. I got the black burns, the black hair. I don't know. Maybe it was a good offset. I don't know, but that's who recently thought of the stylist, Rico the Stylist character. That's because it's doing the shows.
I'll never forget those segments you did. Like I remember one where like you were like, this is where you introduced Miss Jackie, but then you had another person on screen. You're like, Elizabeth, you're my off-screen assistant only, off-screen. And
we were doing the bikini shows,
yes.
the summer spectacular. Yeah, and yeah, we were in the set, and Jackie was doing and she would come out like playing wearing a sombrero. That was a makeup lady. Oh. That was our makeup lady. Oh. Yeah. So they pulled her in for the stunt, and she was funny, and she was just being herself.
Oh.
Yeah. She was our makeup lady.
Another segment I love though was when you and Charlie were doing like a fashion show with Jackie backstage.
Yeah.
And you pulled out like, oh, if you really like this one, let's see what I'm wearing. And you pulled out the Speedo, and then Charlie's like, no, man, no. See, the color's not you. It's too black. It's too bright. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like, well, how about the other one? The other one? The other one. And then the other one. And then you pointed to Jackie, Miss Jackie, if you please.
Yeah. Charlie was always in awe. Do you remember me kissing Jackie's belly, always getting in?
Yep.
I waited a while to, I did the switcheroo on Charlie, and
yes.
yeah. So I would always tease him.
Well, that's not going to lead to, we talked about Jackie too. And of course, when you move to Raw, you transition from a managerial role to a more of a full-time professional wrestler. I just want to know, how was the transition between being a manager and a wrestler?
Well, when I switched, I wanted to be the wrestler anyway. I got good at being manager because of Billy, and then all the tapes I studied of the good heels, Jimmy Hart, with the megaphone and stuff like that. But I really did want to wrestle. I wanted to show what I could do in the ring, and there was. I was happy when they finally started letting me wrestle, because when I was a manager, I got to wrestle some, and then they put me back manager and wrestle some manager. Even we had that a table match at the no, it's 2002 Survivor Series.
Yeah,
Remember, it was
Square Garden, the Dudleys, right?
Dudley's.
Mhm.
No, it was Bubba Dudley, Spike Dudley, and Jeff Hardy
Yes.
against me, Jamal, and Rosie. And when they finally 3D'd me through the table, that table metal bar went right through my arm.
Wow.
And I had to lay there still being 3D'd, and a blood thing just started to soak up the mat. They had to change the mat. And they go, okay, you can get up. And I had brand new silver snakeskin pants. And then guys started to put my arm down. I'm like, hey, my pants. These are new. He goes, your arm. I said, how come my arm? Don't ruin my tights. And we got back there, and the guy doc says, you need stitches inside and out. I said, okay, stitch me up. He goes, I don't have any lidocaine. I said, okay, stitch me up. And so he's stitching me up, and on the DVD, there's a bonus section where he's actually stitching me up, and I'm giving an interview while he's stitching me up. No lidocaine, nothing, just sewing me up.
Man.
Incredible. Christopher?
Oh man. I think you kind of touched on this. Well, you did touch on it earlier. The differences between working Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's to me, it was just you had to be more precise, pinpoint on your moves, your timing, and the match. That's the only thing. That's the only pressure.
I see.
Gotcha.
And you touched up on this topic as well too. Working with Jackie. I just want to know what were your memories working with Jackie Gator, and of course, whose idea was it to put you both together?
Well, Miss Jackie Gator, very fresh, professional, very, very, very good girl. Remember her and Linda's Miles match, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they already put her down on OVW, and they were going to release her. After I got back from talking to Adrian, I said, she goes, they were going to give me Medina from ECW. That's what they're going to put me up with. And no cut against Medina, but she's basically a wrestler. She's not a, eye candy. I needed eye candy to offset what I was doing. So I told Stephanie, I'm thinking of Miss Jackie Gator. Oh, now she can't wrestle. I don't want her to wrestle. All I want to do is dote on me and get this character over to keep the dichotomy that the people don't understand. Is he gay? Is he not gay? Wait a minute. He's got a beautiful girl. Da 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 da. I said, so I need her. Well,
Right.
after a lot of talking, they said, okay, but she'll never wrestle. I said, fine with me. I'm the wrestler. So they brought her up, and we sat down, and I had that talk with her right away, because I was married at the time, and you don't know what people are thinking. So I wanted to clear the elephant in the room. And I told her, our relationship is just business. You have to worry about nothing else. But if you got an idea, you need to tell me, because this is a team. That's how we're going to stay on TV. We communicate and talk. And if you got an idea, it's always a good idea. Just bring it out. And that's how we started the relationship. And it was great. She was always on time. She wanted to wrestle. So she would show up to house shows early and get dressed up in her wrestling boots and stuff like that. And the boys would beat the crap out of her every day, just beat her up to put her in her dues. And I couldn't come in and save her. As much as I wanted to say, hey, dude, that's too rough. I couldn't. It's just what the boys do. And
Right.
she did it for 4 months.
Wow.
Didn't say a word, didn't cry, had bruises, didn't say a word, took it. And then she started to wrestle. Then we started having me and her against Jericho and what's the little Trish Stratus. We had the Dudleys with Dawn Marie and us. So she got to be in a bras and panties match where I got stripped down to my pink thong in Salt Lake City. No, you gotta watch that one.
We gotta rewatch that.
In Salt Lake City, I'm in a pink twinkly T-back, and I'm trying to cover Jackie's butt. And JR goes, "Oh my God, I didn't need to see that before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving will never be the same. Yeah, so that's a good one. But yeah, she was great to work with, put in her dues. She actually got to be a good wrestler. Then Charlie came along, and then those two fell in love.
Aw.
And I didn't even know about it. Like I said, it was business to me. I didn't care about anybody's personal stuff, you know.
Fair enough.
But I did, the boys, I'll tell you, the boys, they like to go out and party, and they're not too neat. They're not on time. Sometimes they're late. So for a while, they're always traveling with all the divas, 5 of them, Gail Kim, Victoria, Ivory, all of us would get a big Suburban. So we'd all go travel. Girls were always on time. They were always neat. They never embarrassed me in a restaurant. And I was their protection. I get out, and Rico, you're a fag. And I go to the arena, I'd go, oh yeah? And out come all the divas. And I was driving. Yeah, I'm a fag, huh? Okay. Diva 1, Diva 2, Diva 3. And then I'd strut, shaking my butt. Yeah. Ha, ha, ha.
Who's laughing now, guys?
Yeah. They're all sitting there going. So, yeah, you're even an entertainer when you're not wrestling. You have to be one going to the ring.
Yeah.
Going to the arena, because they'll call you out.
That's
man.
Chris, before I start, cracking up here, what was your next question?
Oh man, memories of working with the Dudleys. Like, what was probably like the most prominent match that stands out in your mind?
And Rico?
I liked Devon. I don't care for Bubba. Don't care for him.
You're like,
I think I've already told you, but there was and like I said, you don't win this belt. Vince gives it to you. So Charlie and I are champs, and we're in Italy, and to give respect to Devon and Bubba, who've been in the business way longer than I have. What would you like to do tonight? Sorry, what do you like to do? Whatever you want to do. What do you want to do? We'll work around it. And I did this, and finally one night he goes, you know what? I'm tired of making the matches. You make the matches. And I said, well, what's, and he started getting upset. Yeah, you're holding the belts. You make the match. And I said, I didn't really win this. Well, you're the tag champ. I said, you know what? You are. Threw the belt at him. I'm no longer champ. I'm not going out. What? And Charlie's like, Devon is like, and Bubba just looking at me because I threw the belt at him. And I walked away. Dean Malenko came on. I said, I ain't going out there with that prima donna. Screw him. I said, he thinks this is all real. I said, we are entertainers. I said, we are the actor, the stunt man, the man out front. We are these people to these people. And if he can't get with the program and let me do my little fun stuff and wants me to be and make the match, and give me disrespect, no, I'm not going out there. So Dean went and talked to Bubba, and he calmed down. He had to get another talk to, but the last talk he got talked to by Vince. We're going to do No Mercy. And again, he tells me, I ain't doing none of that shit. All right, so I think Pat Patterson's our agent. And he goes, what are you going to do? Rico? I said, I can't do nothing. Bubba doesn't want to do it. What? I don't want to do it. He goes, okay. Patterson goes back. All of a sudden, over the loudspeaker in the arena, Bubba Dudley report to Vince's green room over the speaker.
That's awesome.
He goes off, come back about 30 minutes later. And then Pat goes, are you ready to work? Yep. Now, he didn't want to do none of the spanking or none of that stuff, right? This is the spot he comes up with. We're wrestling, and then Dawn and Jackie, because the guys can't wrestle the girls. So Dawn and Jackie get in there, and then Dawn tags in Bubba, and he gets in there, and he won't let Jackie tag out to one of us. So he's grabbing her by the hair, and he says, get on her knees. He goes, now give me a kiss. And he lets go, and he goes, now give me a kiss. He puts his hands behind his back and puckers up. And as he's doing it, now he thought of this. As he's doing that, Jackie sneaks out, tags me in. I come tiptoeing in like Clouseau, and then I kneel down next to him, and everybody in the audience is going, no. I start rubbing his head. Oh, I just rub his head. He said, oh, yeah, baby, lay it on me. And I went, mwah! I gave him a kiss. He opened his eyes and went, like the Home Alone kid. Ran out. Now, Taz actually I mean, that's how I tried to get to pop. Taz popped, couldn't say shit. He's drinking water, spitting it out, and then he walks out of the arena. Now I'm bouncing Devon around. Boom, 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 getting near fall. Well, Bubba comes back, and I'm going to top rope Devon. Well, Devon hits the ropes. I crotch myself, and then they get on me, and then the heat starts, and then the gratuitous girl fight. Spear out, the girls go, and the boys are doing it in, and then Bubba slams me, boom, and he picks me up for the what's that, and Devon gets up there, and as he's getting ready to go off, I'm going, come on, Devon, right here. I'm rubbing my crotch, come on, and Devon and Bubba's going, come on, and Devon's going, no, and then Charlie pushes Devon off, and then Bubba goes after Charlie hits Bubba. I give Bubba chin music. Down he goes. Charlie comes off the other turnbuckle. High elbow onto Devon. I get on the other turnbuckle. High moonsault. 1, 2, 3. But Bubba, who didn't want to do shit, thought up the kiss match. The kiss part. Me giving him a kiss.
That wasn't the match where you tore the hamstring, right?
No, that was an All-State Arena Chicago. That's when this one was the 6-man intergender match that the kiss was. The one in Chicago where he tore my hamstring 3 times in the first match in one match, that was All-State Arena. And that's the one I didn't get up on. He tore it when he threw me out of the ropes, and I got in. I said, you tore my hamstring. So the first thing he does is shoot me from corner to corner, and it looks like shit because I can't run. Then he gives me a suplex, tears it again. I said, I can't go on. I can't move this. It's tingling. So he's got to go for the pin. So what he does, he throws me into a turnbuckle again, a short throw. I hit the ground, and then he takes my legs, throws them up over my head, and then puts his legs on the turnbuckle and tears it a 3rd time. And I sat there, and I said, Charlie goes, you okay? I said, you're going to have to carry me out or wheel me out because I'm not getting up. Not getting up. I got makeup on my face and everything, and my leg is just throb. I felt it tear, and you hear it tear. Wow. He did it 3 times in one match.
Did you confront Bubba, like going back to the gorilla box, or no?
I couldn't. I had to go to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I confronted him later.
And he probably denied it, right?
Oh, I didn't know. And I'm not one to argue. You know, if you're going to lie dead to my face because I told you, I know I told you, you know, and you continue to do it, that's malice.
It is.
So that's why I call him a big piece of crap. I'm being censored on this end.
I'm just trying to picture like with him going, I'm tired of making the matches. You guys are champions. Why don't you make up the match? Was he sitting down when he said that, or was he standing up when he said that? 'Cause I'm just trying to picture him sitting down, moping like this. Going.
Well, he started to sit and then he stood up, which made me stand up. Oh, you're not going to stand up on me because we all sat in a circle, and he's just telling that. And then when he stood, that's when I threw the belt.
And he was probably
when he was standing up. Well, he didn't know how I was going to act. But I don't put up with bullshit like that. You're being a baby. You've been tag team champion 15 fucking times. Excuse me. Edit that out.
No worries. This is uncensored.
Been at 15 times tag team champion. I've been it twice. So what? I'm in Italy. I'm Italian American wrestler. They like us. So, you know, get over yourself.
Well, when he apologized, was it like a real apology? He was like,
he didn't apologize.
He didn't apologize? Okay. Sorry.
Never.
My mistake.
Yeah, he never apologized. I had to call him out on another podcast and say what a piece of feces he was.
Oh man, but unrelated to Bubba Dudley though, I gotta ask you too.
Talk to the man. Talk to the man.
Rico, you are the man. Rico, you're the man. I gotta ask you too. You, along with Jackie Gator, were traded to SmackDown ironically, for Chuck Palumbo and A-Train in the WWE 2004 draft lottery. Did you know in advance that you were going to be trading, going back to SmackDown? And how did you feel about returning to the brand you debuted on?
Well, no, one, I felt great about going back to SmackDown. 2, I knew it because that's when they trained. They changed. I went from 3 Minute Morning, and I was developing the Adrian Street character. So I already knew I was going to be on SmackDown and knew that trade was going to happen because they killed Rico the Stylist character and they wanted the new Rico character. And that's when right around the 4, that's when that happened, or early. that or a little earlier, I think. I mean, you got the dates there. I don't, but I remember already knowing because they couldn't bring me back on Raw because they killed me on Raw. They crushed the character. So they wanted me to get a baby face start on SmackDown. And I love going back to SmackDown.
That's
A
awesome.
lot less pressure.
I was so happy to see you
Right.
back on SmackDown. And
Yeah.
Chris, before you ask your question too, I have to ask.
Sure,
We talked about Bubba before, though. And of course, SmackDown was the home of the old guard. You had Bradshaw, you had Hardcore Holly, you had Chris Benoit at some point. I know he wasn't on the roster in 2004. He was on Raw, but he was on SmackDown. But you didn't have any like problems or altercations with Bradshaw or Bob Holly, did you?
Bradshaw was a tough guy. Bob Holly, see, there's a difference between is he your uncle?
Sorry?
Bubba? Is Bubba your uncle?
No.
You said you're related.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you said you were related to it.
No, I didn't say that. I'm not related to Bubba Ray Dudley.
Oh, my bad then. That's why I
why
said
would-
talk to him.
No, like I'm
No,
not related.
there's a difference between the way Bubba sees his for tough or Bob Holly does. Bob Holly likes it stiff. And we were again in Italy. We're in Italy, and it's Bob Holly and Billy against Chuck and Charlie and I. And we did the match. Well, all of a sudden, Bob chopped me, and he chopped me again, and he chopped me. Wait a minute, motherfucker. I threw him in the corner. I started wailing on him. And we were already supposed to be on another spot. He turned me in the corner, started wailing on me again. I went, oh, yeah? Turned him a wail. This went on for like 45 seconds. And then I had him, and then he chopped me. I went back. He came out. I chopped him. And the center of the ring for another 30 seconds was nonstop right-hand chops on each other to see who was going to quit. He was trying to test how tough I was. And finally, after I hit him, he hit me, and he goes, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. So I kicked him in his gut and headlock taked him over because I had to rest. My chest was on fire. I had to hold him over. I was like, oh, my God. That was a chop. See, but he was doing it for a different reason. He wanted, he wanted me, he felt I needed to pay some more dues holding a belt.
But Bradshaw never.
No.
And also, Chris, before you ask your question, though, let me just say that too, I'm going to preference this too, that I'm not related to any wrestler. And if I was, I wish, Rico, you were my uncle. I wish you were my uncle, Rico. That way I could be like Napoleon Dynamite, instead of Napoleon Dynamite, be Napoleon Petamite, and actually have Uncle Rico.
Yeah, there is. Where I work now, the dispatcher calls me Uncle Rico when she calls me on the radio. Uncle Rico. It's Rico.
Chris, man, your question?
All right. Actually, before I ask this question, Rico, I want you, if you will, walk us through your road to recovery between 2016 and 2019.
Well, okay. I was getting sick in 2015, but I kept putting it off. I can overcome it. And I was all of a sudden I'd be looking at the computer and it would go black, but I'd still be awake. Arms would go numb. My legs would go numb. I'd get dizzy, like a vertigo session, but I didn't know what they were. Headaches, my gym strength was going down, stamina going down. And that was about a year. And then till January 23rd, 2016, I thought I had the flu. So I laid down for 2 days and wasn't getting any better. I went to the hospital and they x-rayed me, did all that, said there's nothing there. I said, but I can't breathe. They said, well, we can give you pain medicine. I said, I don't want pain medicine. I want to breathe. There's an elephant on my chest. So I came back home and I stayed in bed another 9 days. And I went to the hospital. I went to my doctor and she gave me an emergency CAT scan the next day. And I go rush to the hospital because I had 2 blood clots this big a piece on the bottom of my lungs. It was going to kill me. So that's how it started. And then I got home. We had to get over that. And why was my blood clotting? My family doesn't have a history of it. So I was on blood thinners. And then 3 months later, because I was always laying down, I got pneumonia. Had to go back in the hospital 3 months later. Went through the pneumonia phase, then came home. And then other things started happening. The nerve, post-concussion syndrome, neuropathy down my legs, carpal tunnel, migraines, at least 6 a month, and degenerating discs up here and down. I was in bed 20 hours a day for 3 years. I know all the Game of Thrones and all those series and stuff. I binge watched every one of them. And I watched Discovery, Animal Planet. You know, I know all about animals, so I'm good.
Gotcha.
So after about 3 years, a friend of mine named Scott, who I used to work with when I retired wrestling, and I was bouncing in a club at Rain, at the Palms, a nightclub, while I was going back to police academy to get my police officer certificate. So I met him and we were friends, and I didn't hear from him for 4 years. And he called me and I said, I'm sick. And he said, oh, you got to get on this juicing diet. You got to go vegan. You got to do this. You got to do that. He goes, let me help you. And I said, okay, we'll get together when I felt better. And in between that, I got called by a bodyguard friend I used to bodyguard with, wanted me to do a bodyguard session here. I told my friend, I can't fight myself out of a wet paper sack. He goes, all you're doing is watching this generator, which is powering a cell tower, and keep somebody from stop them from stealing the copper wire. I said, yeah, but I'm sick. He goes, can you still shoot? I said, yeah, I can still shoot. He said, shut up and take the job. Okay. He goes, and find a friend. I ain't got no friends. He goes, find one. Oh, okay. So I hung up the phone, and a minute I went, I'll call Scott. So I called Scott back and, hey, dude, you want to make $35 an hour for about 3 days, 12 hours a day? Hell yeah. I said, good. Bring all your videos. We're going to watch this generator. And we did. And for 3 days, he showed me What the Health was the first one,
Okay.
Knives Over Forks, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And then I watched the last one called Fed Up with Katie Couric. And then I watched the Gerson Therapy, Dr. Gerson. So those are the 5 videos I watched. And I went January 9th, January 10th, switched everything, and I went 60 days straight juicing. I mixed a gallon, 1.25 gallons every day of all these vegetables, because I got the book that says what helps with this, what helps with that, what helps with this.
Right.
And I did it for 60 days. I was 272 pounds, had a 45-inch waist. At the end of 60 days, I was 204 pounds.
Wow.
And my waist went down to 34. And within that time, I started walking. I had to learn how to jog again. I couldn't even jog. I had no rhythm of jogging. I couldn't even do a lady push-up. It was just terrible. But slowly, surely, and then I got back in the gym, and that was 2019. That was great. And now my waist is down to 32. I'm fitting into jeans that I haven't fit in years. And then COVID. March 16th, 2020. The governor here shut everything down. So funny, not this week, but next week, I'm going to start back in the gym, because they've eased up on the mask in the gym thing. So I'm going to start back in the gym and going to go back and stay healthy.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
That was actually, not to cut you off, Pete, that was actually my question. And thank you so much for not only answering that, but for getting well and being able to be here with us to do this interview, man. It's really a complete honor. Though the question was about those 5 documentaries that helped educate you to be able to take the steps necessary to get your health exactly where you want it to be, man.
I've got footage
thank God for you being here with us.
I got footage of the first 60 days. I've got pictures of the first 60 days and I used to have to wear a CPAP machine, because my body would stop breathing anywhere from 15 to 20 times an hour. So and it had to shoot air so I wouldn't stop breathing during my sleep. But I've got a day.
Like sleep apnea, not to cut you off. Was that like sleep apnea?
That's what I had. So I've got all this on video. I don't know how to put anything together. And I've got all the photos, week by week photos, week by week dates. My blood pressure was like 190 over 240 as I started. And then it started coming back down. And I started getting off medication, not needing it. And I didn't do pain medicine. I didn't do any of the opioids when I was sick, because me and opioids don't get along. My doctors, I got some great doctors. They gave me nerve block. I had the Botox for the migraines. So I did more of that, and so that's how I got good. But I've told this to everybody. I don't know how to put it together, but I have all this footage that somebody who has a talent can put this together. I don't want any money, but if somebody can get it out there to help somebody else, I'll give you everything, put it together and put it out. and help somebody. But I got all this footage, just don't know what to do with it.
That would be amazing. Actually, put that
No.
put that
If you
together,
got a
man.
feeler, if somebody's willing to do it, I'll give them the footage. I don't want the money. I just want to let everybody know that your body
It
is
can
a
be done.
magnificent thing and you can fix yourself. You just have to give it a chance to fix itself. God made a magnificent thing when he made us. Magnificent. So if you guys can find somebody to put it together, I'll get it all to you and go to town. Edit it however you want.
Chris,
But if you guys can do that and get it out, it would help a lot of people.
Chris, let's do it, man.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Absolutely, man.
I definitely be on board.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
Chris and I would definitely be
Absolutely.
help in any way we can.
go ahead. I'll get you all that
Absolutely, 'cause
footage.
A lot of people, that would touch a lot of people. Personally, that's why I wanted to ask that question personally, because like I mentioned, in preparation for tonight, I had to, do my research, and I watched a
Right.
couple of the interviews that you did last year, and you spoke about this, and I had to ask about those 5 documentaries, because people need to see, like, hey, it could be done. You can reverse the fortunes of your health with commitment and dedication, and it all starts with the mind first.
Yep.
Yeah,
What the mind can conceive, the heart can achieve.
absolutely.
That's a beautiful.
Could not have said it better myself. Could not have said it better myself.
There's nothing here that's not telling me that you're not inspirational, though. I mean, everything you say, Rico, is very inspirational. Like what
Oh,
you
thank you.
overcame, like it's in short, very beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And of course, I wanted to know too, like back in like when you were in WWE though, like with your matches and segments, so who was usually your agent producing the matches and segments?
Everybody.
Okay.
I didn't have this. Only one that really said was going to be the agent was Stephanie during the wedding. So that's the only time an agent said, "No, I'm the agent," because Stephanie wanted that whole segment. She ran that whole segment.
See? Of course. Which again, that was a really great segment though. I thought that was one of the best segments in WWE history. At least, at least good 30 years. That was the best segment I've ever seen. The way it was done, the betrayal, you had everything. You had emotion, you had betrayal, it was like a movie. It was like literally watching a movie scene.
Yeah. And that's what we tried to do. And like I said, you had so many talented people. Eric is a good actor. Stephanie's good in her own way. Bill and Chuck, we talked about it, how we're going to do it. The week before was the proposal with the ring and stuff like that. And how all the, me running around like what is that? The best man or the bridesmaid trying to get the wedding ready. Oh, this is not here. Maid of honor. Yeah. Well, no, it's not here. It's not going right. And me getting Stephanie out there. That was the whole key to, and you knew why, because that was my insurance policy in case the guys backed out. Stephanie out there, because I knew it was Eric under there.
Smart move.
See, it is a movie.
Yeah.
My name is Rico. James Rico.
Oh man, still got it, man. You still got it.
Absolutely.
Chris, what was your question, buddy? Because this next question, I'm very excited to ask Rico.
Just wanted to ask if you watched the current product today, and do you have any favorites?
No, I don't watch it today. My favorite is still Roman. I like Roman because of the history. I don't get it today. I got to see a story. You got to catch my attention. Now the dog food in the face segment, I hated.
Yeah,
Roman. I hated that. Now you reached to a new low. You disgusted me. But so I don't watch now. Plus I work different now. I work like a swing yard. I work 4 p.m. to 4 a.m., sometimes longer. I'm not a police officer no more, but I am a certified accident investigator, risk management, loss prevention for one of the largest limousine or insurance companies here in the county. Yeah, yeah. So I do that now, and I'm having a great time. I'm back in the element, my element, except I don't have to put people in jail. That's lovely.
Right.
And I have to give people tickets, which is lovely. But I am doing a job that is important for safety, keeping the drivers safe, making sure they operate under regulations, they have their paperwork so nobody gets fined, or accidents, be there to get all the facts, because there's always 3 sides to a story. This side, that side, and somewhere in the middle.
The truth.
The truth.
Yep.
That's my job.
And can I just say too that your job is very like it's definitely a job that it's you're making a difference every day, which I totally appreciate and totally respect about it because as a teacher assistant for special needs children, I could totally commend you for such a wonderful job that you have that you're making a difference in in society.
I know I got to, whether it's entertaining or protecting.
And you're absolutely amazing at both of them.
Oh, well, thank you.
I had to ask this question too. Well, I made a mistake. It wasn't the question I was going to decide about, but this is another question I had, and that was who was usually at the gorilla box? Obviously Vince was, but who else was there, like in that gorilla? What was that?
Slaughter.
Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Was Bruce there?
Bruce was in the box a lot. Bruce Pritchard, Vince, and Hayes.
Oh my Clays.
Hayes, and whose ever match it was. Like it was Malenko's match, Fitz match, Hayes's match, whoever. But yeah, but Vince was the one calling the shots, had the monitors, and he's the one talking directly to the referee. Because sometimes even though you had, let's say, 8 minutes for a match, somebody might have gone over on Raw, like Triple H on a promo or something. So now your match gets done for 8 minutes down to 6 minutes.
Ugh.
So you get cut down. So you have to go on the fly, cut some stuff out, but still make the story believable. And that's what comes in as you as a professional.
Well, that's why I think, in an interesting story too, I think that's why Randy Savage got pissed off one time at Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels because their match at WrestleMania 11, their ladder match, ran longer than expected, which screwed the match that was after them, and it cut their time.
Yeah. Well, Macho Man, he was the main event, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You don't do that to the main event. Don't ever do that to the main event.
No.
And don't copy what the main event's going to do.
Right.
Like everybody tends to go with the chops. Everybody falls back on the chops or the kicks. People who didn't do it but if Shawn was going to be on the show, never threw a sidekick. If Shawn was going to be on TV, never threw a sidekick. I got many other kicks I could choose from, but I wouldn't throw it out of respect for Shawn.
Does. Right.
Yeah.
If you remember Pete Sabu mentioned something like that, like just keep it fresh. Don't do what the next guy doing,
because you already know.
Right.
And give respect to the main event because you get, the higher you are on the card, the more you get paid. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I was on so many main events, semi-main events, is because of my character, that last character. I made people laugh because everybody else wanted to be serious, main event serious. So the people had all night of serious. I would come out and they would take a breath and go, and they would laugh. Right. So, and then when JBL and Eddie Guerrero came out there, they were ready to see some knockdown fights because I've given them a chance to relax. You don't have to, and people didn't understand that. Some of the wrestlers didn't understand that. You go, why is he in a semi event? Why is he in a semi-main event? Because I entertain. I'm not going to, I got in so late. I'm not going to be as big as Cena, Triple H, Batista, Brock. No reason for me to take steroids. So I worked on this. And my moves I had from martial arts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just did what I could with where I was at. That was it.
That's fair.
Yeah, true.
Fair. Chris, what was your last not the last question, but what was one of your final questions?
Your 2004 departure, man. What was like you kind of like left kind of abruptly. I know you touched on it earlier, but if you could
I wanted a raise. And Vince said no. And so he cut me.
And that was pretty much
he asked me back twice. Okay. Once he sent Tommy Dreamer. And I saw him. I just happened to see him. And I said, Tommy, tell him thank you, but no. I don't like to be on. He had me once. Should have kept me. Right. Because he tried to get that character over with what's that Santino or Santina? Yeah. How bad did he flop?
He did.
Okay. Only certain Dino Bravo tried to do the same character as Adrian, and he flopped. Only a certain personality can do this. And Vince said it himself when I said, why me to Triple H? And Triple H told me, Vince says you're the only one that can pull this character off. So Vince said that to Triple H, who told me. So if I'm the only one that can pull it off, why don't you keep me?
Right.
I did. And, I worked 3 years for so much money. if I'm doing a job, I've held the belts twice. I'm going to be on the cover. All I'm asking for is $1,000 a week. Goldberg gets $36,000 a week himself, and I'm only asking for 1,000. And I work longer than Goldberg. I mean, Goldberg worked maybe 5-6 a month. I was working every week.
Right.
I got maybe 2 or 3 weeks off a year. So I was out there in the grind.
Yeah.
And being older and putting out a good product.
What sucks though is that they still coddle Goldberg to this day though. I mean, he makes barely any appearance and they freaking coddle him to death. They put him in main event storylines. I mean, what more can you do? You gave this guy the Universal title twice. I mean, come on. I mean, he's past his prime. I mean, it's like Bobby Lashley said, Goldberg hasn't been relevant since 1998.
Nope.
And it's true.
That's why he coddles the Brock too.
Yeah, another one they coddle. Like, I feel like they only focus on 4 people there. Like, they only focus on Brock, Goldberg, Cena, and I'm gonna say Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Roman deserves it because Roman paid his, like, he's here every week. He's not part-time, so I understand that about Roman, but
right.
Goldberg and Brock, these part-timers, I don't understand it at all. Nope. And what he's gonna find out is when those guys go again, you're gonna be where is your backup? Yep. That's why we had AAA leagues back then, is so if somebody got hurt, somebody quit, you just pull, like the NFL pulls from the practice squad. Right. Major League Baseball pulls from the AAA team. Or somebody's not good, they put you back down to AAA, and then they'll pull you back up. That's the game.
Agree. And Rico, I got to ask you this question too, and this is a lighthearted question. And that is, when I'm not, on a strict diet, though, I'm almost like a military type diet. But when I'm not, I'm a big foodie. And the question I'm going to ask you is, what was the catering scene like in WWE, and what was your favorite meal? If you had a favorite meal or snack, what was it? Oh, catering at WWE was fantastic. All healthy. Vince spared no expense at catering. You had vegetarian food. The vegan was just coming up, but you had your sweets for the people who wanted sweets. But you had your meat and potatoes. You had your vegetables. Yeah, you had the great combination of protein and carbohydrates right there, and it stayed up all day because we were there at least 10, 12 hours. Right. We're there, so we get to go back. You work out, go, and do your running in the ring, stretching and stuff like that. So it was there all day. So his catering was top notch. And they also had like desserts there, like cakes. Or... Yep. Okay. Yeah, and they had hamburgers for the people who just want to eat hamburgers and stuff like that. But for the most part, everybody chose healthy because on the road it's hard to eat healthy. I mean, I tried to eat at Applebee's and Chili's and TGI Fridays, trying to stay clean. Because you can't carry the stuff around with you. So Vince, I could say that it was a great thing he did, with catering. Plus, he was healthy too back then. He ate healthy all the time. Oh, I'd say. Yeah. Okay. Chris, your final question?
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask, how did I always like to know pre-match rituals, how did you psych yourself to get ready just before a match? Earlier you had mentioned when you were filming American Gladiators, due to your particular martial arts training, you was able to pull yourself down and then juice yourself right back up when it was time to go back out. Did any of that apply to your matches just before you went out to wrestle?
Oh, hell yeah. How I went over my match, I would sit. I mean, I'm not a rocking chair. I can sit in a regular chair and just do this. I close my eyes and I'll go back. I'll run over my match 500 times. I'll run over what if happens, what if this happens, what if I get hurt, what if my opponent gets hurt, how am I going to cover it? What if he zigs and I zag? One of us is, I run over everything, and I run over the match over my head that we're going to do, that we plan on doing. Sometimes you can't go with your plan and you have to have another plan. You got to put plan B in effect, but it has to happen like this. There ain't no time to stop. You have to go like this. So all the mental preparation that I would do is from my martial arts, from my, athletic, especially in stunt work with the Conan show, there's actual fire going off, explosions, and you have to stand on a certain button. And everybody has to be in a certain place before any pyrotechnics goes off, anything. So You had to imagine that, and you know, you had to be at the right spot, plus act and do this. Same thing with Batman. If you weren't if everybody wasn't on their cue, the booms didn't go off, and then you get your little dings from the producers. So you know, I'm always prepared. I'm all, even at work, before I go to work, I have to sit and I have to rock and go, okay. After the boss briefs me and says, okay, we're gonna look at this. We need to look at this. This has been a problem in the past. We want to focus down on this for this. I said, okay. So then I start thinking, and then I get my own ideas, and I just put it in action and go through the night. So I prepare for everything I do, whether it's shooting. You know, I still do my shooting and still be proficient with a weapon, many weapons actually. Yeah, I have a gun I take to everything. There's my concert gun. There's my fromage gun. There's my McDonald's rifle.
Awesome. Oh man.
There's my outside. I even got cowboy guns. I get a Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a holster looked like the Lone Ranger with two chrome actual 45 45s. Actual 45s.
Colt 45, right?
Colt 45s, yeah.
Awesome.
Rico is not one to be messed with, man. Let that be known.
That is beautiful.
There it is.
That's a beautiful.
It is, yo. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
I got two Lone Ranger.
the handle's beautiful.
Yeah, all pearl, mother of pearls.
I have to ask you this, Rico, too. This is gonna be one of my final questions too. And that is, you came out of retirement in 2012. You wrestled for FSW,
FSW.
Future Stars of Wrestling, where you teamed up with the Beast to take on the team of Gregory Sharp and Clutch. Memories of your final match?
Oh, it was great. What I was doing is I tore my patella tendon again. So I was rehabbing. So I was working as a police officer, and this was the final stage of my rehab. But I had it all harnessed up and everything. And I went to a tag match, because if I started to feel it hurt in a singles, you can't just stop. But in a tag match, I could break away. So this was the last thing. FSW, I would go there and help Joe with his talent on my days off of police work. And I would help his kids. I'd train his kids for free. I just tell them what the business is about and everything. Well, I did that last match, and the last chief I had in the police department before I went sick told me I couldn't teach those kids no more. I said, why? It's my time. I'm not getting paid to do it. He says, yeah, but is that guy letting you use his facility? I said, well, yeah, where else am I going to teach them? He goes, do those other kids pay? I go, yeah. He goes, well, then you need to pay. Wait a minute. I'm donating my time to them to teach them to live their dream. And after that match, the chief said either quit or he's going to attempt to fire me. So I reluctantly, that was my final match. I plan on doing a lot more for FSW to help them out. So the Disco and D-Lo was there. You know, he came in afterwards, but yeah, my chief put a kibosh on that.
I see.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So my match was good. The memory of it is not good because it was somebody who was jealous, somebody who did not want me to do something. I just think that's selfish.
Yeah.
Very selfish.
I
have a gift.
Very much like that.
Yeah. I had a gift and I wanted to pass it on. Somebody passed it on to me, and I wanted to pass it on to them. But I always told them, I said, wrestling, you're going to put your dues in, but you know what? Get another job, get another craft that you can fall back on, because it'll come and it'll go. But get something that you can build and live your life on, and do this as long as you can, and then fall back on that. See, when I left wrestling, okay, because I went to Japan, I said, I can't keep coming back here every month for 3 weeks. I'm 44, almost 45 years old. So I went to police academy here, graduated #1 again, and was hired a few months later with the state of Nevada. A month later, I was hired as a part-time U.S. Marshal. So I was a state investigator and a U.S. Marshal, part-time U.S. Marshal, called a DSO, District Security Officer. So we handled all the prisoners, the high-profile cases in court, stuff like that. Transportation, you know, taking it from two to there, and you know, the guns and the chase cars and the vans like you see in TV, just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Rico, before we conclude though, like this is the part of my show. It's an open forum. This is the part where you could talk about anything you want. You can say whatever you like. The floor is yours, Mr. Constantino.
Wow. Well, I can't say anything else. You guys said it all. But I am very blessed to be around, and I've
Yeah.
had talks with people, and the fact that the fans still remember me after 16 years, 17 years, and that I can still entertain them through my matches and stuff like that. And I can come on to podcasts, and I can, you know, inspire people and tell people that yes, you can do it if you want to do it. And that's why I said, what your mind can conceive, your heart can achieve.
I will achieve.
I used to put reach for the stars on my autograph pictures when I send them to people. I still have people send me stuff from all over the world. I sign it, they send a self-addressed envelope, and I send it right back. So, and I'm still getting asked to do podcasts. Hint. I figured, okay, Rico's been there, he's done that, and they'll entertain, but people still want to know, which is very humbling. Very humbling.
It is. And Chris, did you have any final words before we conclude?
No, you said it all, brother. I'm just very grateful and appreciative to have had the time to sit down and speak with you, Mr. Constantino.
Absolutely.
You guys are great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just want to say before we conclude, though, when I'm asked how are you going to remember Rico Constantino, I'm going to say on screen as a hilarious, inspirational man who entertained me week after week, whether it was on Raw or SmackDown. But off screen, I'm going to remember this man as a true inspirational, a man who overcame the odds and kicked the adversity's ass. And just if I were to see him walk into an IHOP, I would be the first one to scream, "Give this beautiful man a stack of pancakes!" Give this beautiful man a stack of pancakes. And also just want to say, I am no way, and I hate to preface this again, but I'm no way related to Bubba Ray Dudley.
Okay.
And if I wanted to be related to any wrestler, I would want you to be my uncle.
Yeah, consider me a stand-in uncle.
You got to stand in, Uncle Rico. And
okay.
We're going to conclude with the following because you deserve this so much. And
yes,
that is,
indeed.
Thank you,
Thank
Rico.
You.
Thank
you, Rico. Thank you, Rico. And Rico, I'm going to send you a copy of this when I'm done editing. Like,
okay.
It will definitely be up tomorrow, and I will give you the most luxurious praise, or like in wrestling terms, put over speech that I could possibly give, because you really are a inspirational,
a true inspiration, man.
God bless you.
And I'm holding you to that.
Overcame the odds.
Yeah, I'm holding you guys. Get this information. If you guys want to do it, I'll put it on a hard drive.
Yeah.
I'll mail it to you and go to town, guys, because people need to see this.
Chris,
they need to be better.
Let's start talking tomorrow, Chris, how we're going to do this, because I would, any way to help you out, Rico, I will be happy to.
I'll get a hard drive.
Likewise.
I'll put everything on a hard drive, the photos, the videos, everything, and I'll hand it to you and go with it. Make a story out of it.
I actually have a great editing software that allows me to do that, though. Like,
good.
I can actually turn this into like a really good like documentary /
It had to be a docuseries. There's so many hours of film, because I'd film myself every day at least once. I'd do the juicing. I'd show how I juiced, show what I was doing to get better. I mean, in the middle of juicing, when I first started, I had to lay down and take a rest because I was so out of breath because of my lungs.
Wow.
So, but it'll show
the progress, the evolution of the progress from then to wow.
Yeah, it's a 60-day actually, it was 60 days with the juice, and then by April, I mean, I was 204. My cholesterol was like 200 and something. It was down to 104. Blood pressure was down. I had fatty tissue on my liver. That was gone. I was pre-diabetic. That was gone. It's just amazing. I got the doctor's reports and everything. Wow. So like I said, I'm going to get this to you when I put it all together, and you got that editing software. Let's help some people.
Absolutely.
Let's help some people out there.
If you don't mind me asking, are you vegan now?
I'm veggie vegan. I cheat once in a while, but I love to cheat once in a while. Yeah,
balance, of course.
A balance. Exactly.
Rico, I'm just gonna say this before we let you go though, is that this is another reason why I consider you like an inspiration because aside from my family and close friends though, I was going through a rough time during the hazing and bullying days of junior high around the time when you were on doing your cool stuff on Raw and SmackDown though. So I want to say that your personality indirectly inspired me to somewhat stand up for myself.
Yeah. I'm glad you did. I know it. I was bullied when I was a junior high kid too.
Oh man,
I was.
I was 4'11", weighed 82 pounds my 9th grade year.
Really?
That's another story. We'll save for another story.
You're always welcome
Gotcha.
to come back on, Rico.
All right. We'll save that for another time.
Okay. You have an awesome night, sir. Again, I just want to say thank you again for not only this awesome interview, like very awesome, inspirational interview, but I also want to thank you for those countless memories you gave me watching WWE from 2002 to 2004.
Same here, man. The memories is priceless. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, sir. And you have an awesome night, Chris. I'm gonna
You as well.
But thanks again so much, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank
Have
you.
a great night.
Have a good night.
Great night.